When it comes to A Second Life, honestly, it's probably our favorite film that came out of the Tribeca 2025 Film Festival, and it's mainly because it just delivers the kind of gut punches which are less so meant to hurt you and more so meant to crack open this shell that you put yourself in. So, to give you a summary, it's the 2024 French Olympics in Paris, and Elizabeth is struggling. Her job is unfulfilling, her personal life has slowly shifted from something poetic and kind of leaving her in this happy drunk state to now leaving her completely achingly sober. This has allowed her to see humanity at its worst, especially as a concierge, and often at its worst, she sees humanity as its most callous and indifferent, not just in general, but also to her experience. So, when it comes to meeting Elijah, he's meeting somebody who's pretty much at the point where there isn't much intrinsic motivation to live, and pretty much Elizabeth's at this point where she's just alive because she is, and she has to work because she's alive, and so on and so forth. But through the connection that they make, and how he not only interacts with Elizabeth but engages her, gets to know her, and opens himself up to her in a way that allows her to feel a reciprocal connection, you see A Second Life not only live up to its title, but also kind of remind you that in the pursuit of trying to have such a tight clutch on life in order to survive or keep some type of grip, you may end up actually just finding that you're choking yourself to death. So getting to the V section, the film sets the tone early on as Elizabeth talks about her state of being by kind of writing this poem. How she used to be drunk in love, drunk on sunrises, someone who truly loved life, but then life decided to sober her up. And the way this is handled is not done in order to evoke a desire for sympathy. If anything, it's trying to give you a sense that because she no longer has a fulfilling life, because has hearing loss, and also is at a certain age, the world is less beautiful, it's less vibrant, full of wonder, full of opportunities, and because she feels so disconnected, not only from things that she could be passionate about, but also people, the idea of figuratively pulling the plug in a real way is something that doesn't feel too far off because of how she just, even surrounded by millions during the Olympics like that, where there's a huge amount of energy in the air, she gets nothing. So pulling that figurative plug wouldn't really change or feel like that different from her life feeling disconnected. Which leads to the next highlight, which is going to be something we combine with the third highlight from the written review, and that's just that when it comes to Elizabeth and Elijah, first off, it's not something that ends up being romantic, and I wouldn't even say it hints at being romantic. In many ways, Elijah, you could easily see him becoming that manic pixie dream, well, boy instead of girl in this case, in terms of you having this person who seems kind of unsure what to do next in life, and then this person randomly pops up, has this crazy colored hair, this different worldview, and kind of livens him up a bit. But it goes deeper than that. Elijah is given a kind of flaws where you can see that his joy, his happiness, and how infectious it is, it's not something that he was just born with and it's simple for him. He has to work hard in order to be that type of person. And I think because he lets Elizabeth see that, and he lets her into his vulnerability, she gets to have that sense of human connection again. And because of how much of an extrovert Elijah is, or he works to be, he shows her a path that's possible rather than the one that Elizabeth was heading on at the time. It is through seeing this sense of connection, this idea that it's about the moment, not necessarily about the outcome, because Elijah's likely going to leave, go back to the States, or maybe travel elsewhere, and Elizabeth is very firmly about living in Europe, specifically France. It just reminds you of how meaningful even the most random or short-lived human connection can be, and also that not everything where you connect with a person and you have chemistry has to be romantic. Sometimes it's just about a person coming in at the right place at the right time to remind you that you have a place in this world, and it doesn't have to be some grand place where you're going to save people from cancer, whatever, something like that. Sometimes it's just you can have, even in the state that you're in, an effect, influence on somebody to make it so even if they seem like they have far much more than you do, you have this one thing that allows them to just be, that is something that no money, no amount of effort could possibly get them from anything or anyone but you. As said in the overview, when it comes to A Second Life, it's our favorite film from the Tribeca Film Festival this year. It was introspective, strong character development, honestly made me cry, and between nuanced performances and a heartfelt script, A Second Life doesn't demand tears through tragedy. Instead, I would say it earns its emotions by gently reminding you how vital it is to be seen, heard, and cared for, especially when you sometimes may feel like you have nothing to offer people, even with them being aware of what you're capable of.